could not be more thrilled to welcome to our home our first in-studio guest in well over a calendar year, and he is somebody I could not be more fond of. I love this man. My wife loves this man potentially more than me, but that's fine. It's all good. He is the host of First Take and Stephen A's World on ESPN Plus. Stephen A. Smith,
my brother,
here in person.
How you doing, my man? It's good to see you.
Good to see you.
You know, well, we can't start off anything. How's the wife?
Susie is doing very well.
No, that's my girl right there.
I know that,
okay.
And she wanted me to send my best to you. You're always so kind to call, and when you're one of her go-to guests when she sits in this chair, which means a lot to me when she does.
Of course.
And so it is great to see you.
Yeah, man, it's good to see you too. How you doing?
I am doing well. You're one of the busiest men in this business.
Yeah.
So Stephen A's World, let's get right into that. Weeknights.
Yeah.
Every weeknight.
4 nights a week.
Except this one, which is kind enough for you to be here on your day off of that. Why Stephen A's World?
Listen, when you do a debate show for as long as we've been doing it, I've been blessed and fortunate to be doing First Take since 2012. And to host my own show, to do interviews and things of that nature, to sort of bring a bit of levity to the situation in terms of just having a good time, it getting back to what I do journalistically, interviewing folks, talking to them, particularly when you connect not just the sports world, but the pop culture world as well. That was a big thing, just stepping away from the debate format to some degree. Yeah. Even though I did that with the radios too. But the other thing is I'm the executive producer of the show, and I've got my own production company, Mr. SAS Productions, which co-produces the show along with ESPN, and that's something that I'm looking to venture into. I want to do docuseries. I want to do scripted and non-scripted content as well. It's something that I've aspired to do for a very, very long time. And so the opportunity to have my own show under the ESPN banner, and streaming is the way to go in this day and age as well.
Oh, yeah?
It just all made perfect sense, and that's why I was so excited to do it.
You and I were talking on a streamer right now.
That's right.
So, and there's a lot of people in our business who are like, streamer.
Well,
listen.
What I mean?
So, but I don't feel that way.
When you were doing the great job that you've always been doing with television over all of these years, I was still doing newspapers. And so, just moving the radio and moving the television, a lot of people in the newspaper industry didn't see it. They didn't see the advent of, .com coming in the fold and what have you. And, that the newspaper business in terms of, broadsheet or tabloids and, even though it exists online, in terms of subscribers, it was going to diminish, and you had to see it coming, and I saw it coming. And so making that move, and I look at streaming in a similar fashion where, the content is king, but the manner in which it's disseminated varies. It changes.
And it's amazing, Stephen A., because there are probably a lot of people in this world who emulate what you have become, and don't know the written word was the first thing for you. Do you miss writing? Do you miss the written word?
I miss it to some degree, in terms of, but I love potency. I love power from the standpoint of, who are you reaching? Does it really, really resonate? And the fact that, I can write, I would write 800 words or 1,000 words as a columnist, okay? Well, I go on the air and I spew 1,000 words out of my mouth in 5 minutes. So it's like, wait a minute. I mean, you could say a lot more.
Yes.
You could get a multitude of messages out there, but newspaper is the foundation. What you learn journalistically, the integrity that comes along with it. I mean, obviously when you're debating and stuff like that, people see the hot takes and stuff like that. And, why did they say this or why did they say that? But I pride myself on being a human being first. So I might call you out for what you do, but I'm not going to character assassinate you and try to define who you are and things of that nature. And I remember one time somebody came up to me and they said, Stephen A., well, damn it, if you know this is going to happen, why did you have to say this? And I looked at them and I said, do you watch soap operas? And they were like, no, not really. I said, let me tell you something about soap operas. I don't know if you watch Young and the Restless on CBS. I said, but there's a guy by the name of Eric Braeden who plays the role of Victor Newman. I said, I am a General Hospital fan. There's a guy by the name of Maurice Bernard that plays Sonny Corinthos. I said, did you know that they're going to live no matter what? Did you know that? They can get shot. They can get stabbed. They can fall down a flight of stairs. They can fall off a bridge. Damn it, they can get in a plane crash. It doesn't matter. They're going to live. It doesn't stop the soaps from telling the story. That's what we do. We tell a story. Now, for example, don't you know the Cowboys stink? You know they're not going to win, right? They're not going to win. I said, but you have to chronicle what they're doing. Now, listen, Michael Irvin, don't you know he's going to be sad and he's going to disappear for a couple of weeks when the season's over? He's probably going to send an APB out for him because he can't be found because the Dallas Cowboys stunk up the joint, just like we said. But it doesn't stop him from coming on the air every Sunday morning with one of those zoot suits on, proclaiming that the Cowboys are going to be relevant. You know, you still gotta tell the story, and that's what I try to do. That's what I try to remind people. Sometimes they listen, sometimes they don't.
I understand that, Stephen A. And I got to tell you, sitting on the set of NFL Game Day Morning, I have a lot of great times with my colleagues. Mm-hmm. It's always great when a producer gets in my ear and says, "Stephen A. just tweeted it, Irv."
Yes,
and I'm like, okay, this is going to be great.
Yeah,
you seem to really relish tweeting at Michael Irvin and relish. I mean, and then his appearance on First Take where he needed a towel to basically wipe his brow.
I will tell you this. Yes. That appearance he made on First Take when he needed, when the time when you talk about he needed the towel to wipe himself.
Yeah.
We were in Dallas, Texas. We were right by AT&T Stadium. Yes. It was the greatest time I've ever had in the history of First Take.
Is that
without question. I mean, it was 3 levels to the restaurant. It was packed to the house. I mean, it was barely standing room. Wasn't a seat in the house. And that audience being there, and then Michael Irvin sitting there, don't just tell your story, tell the story. And he's screaming, I have taken over his show. And the entire crowd is chanting, Michael. I'm like, this is hilarious. You know, and I'm loving it, A, because it's great television, B, because I love having him on the show because he's my buddy and I love him like a brother. But C, I know the inevitable. They're going to fall. I'm like this. And let's see. And what gets lost in all of that is they were playing the Tennessee Titans that night because it was a Monday.
Right.
And they were playing the Tennessee Titans on Monday Night Football. I said they're going to lose tonight. And sure enough, they lost. I mean, they just snuck up the joint. And I'm like, they just never let me down. And it's beautiful because I'll confess, I shouldn't confess this to his colleague at the NFL Network, but I have to.
Please.
I kind of use Michael Irvin to sort of sucker the Cowboy fans into getting hyped and excited, knowing the crash is coming. It's just a beautiful thing. Nothing pleases me more than to see him and the rest of the Cowboy faithful miserable. And I'm not talking about the team, but the fans, who I think they are the most disgusting, nauseating fan base in history. I can't stand a Cowboy fan. They all make me sick, including your guy who I like. But damn it, he's a Cowboy fan, so I don't like him right now. I can't stand Cowboy fans. And to watch Michael Irvin get them hyped, knowing they're going to fall and seeing it, having the foresight to see it.
Yes.
It's a beautiful thing when I know it's coming, and he's done set him up. It's beautiful.
Well, I just know, Stephen A., in my household, after what you refer to, the inevitable. Any game that the Cowboys are expected to win or the fan base hopes that they win, and then they do not. All eyes in my household, my wife, Susie, and I are peeled on your Twitter feed to see...
And it should.
That's right. It's coming. The video's coming.
It's beautiful. It's beautiful, man. Let me tell you something right now. I got so much stuff planned for the Cowboys this year. I'm not going to even reveal it. I'm trying to tell you. Now, I'm going to need some permission from the NFL. I'm going to need some permission. I might even need permission from Jerry Jones. Because, you know, as long as you talk about the Cowboys, he don't care what you say. Just talk about his Cowboys. You know Jerry Jones don't care. That's my buddy right there. His birthday's October 13th. Mine's October 14th. I love Jerry Jones. I love Jerry Jones. He knows that. But if they let me, the stuff that I got planned for the Cowboy fans this year, it'll be epic. It's going to be epic.
There's production value? I mean, what do we have here?
I'm trying to get, I think it can be production value. I mean, it could involve cheerleaders. It could involve the cheerleaders.
Okay.
It can involve police officers. It can involve a lot of different things. You understand what I'm saying? And by the way, I'm hoping some of them are going to be live from Texas because I want to be in the stadium. I actually asked ESPN. They said they're not going to give us access to AT&T Stadium. I said, can we get the parking lot? That's all I need. All I need is the parking lot. I said, they got to come through there to get to inside the stadium. I said, just let me be outside the stadium. It'll be hilarious. Remember when they lost to the Rams in the playoffs a couple of years ago?
Here in Los Angeles.
That's right.
Yes.
What you didn't know is that I was downtown at the JW Marriott because the Cowboy fans annoy me and they bug me and they always want pictures and they call themselves heckling me even though you only won 4 playoff games in 26 years. But that's neither here nor there. So they come back, right?
Yes.
And the Cowboy fans, I'm literally in the lobby of the JW Marriott downtown in LA Live.
Yes.
Greeting Cowboy fans. I was like, hey, come on, shake my hand. Here you go. Where are you? Don't you want a picture?
Welcoming them back to the hotel.
Oh, you should have seen
that they're staying in because they came for the game.
And they were running away from me. They're like, oh, they were running away. I said, you ask anybody that was there, they'll remember. I'm telling you, if somebody was there, they'll remember. I was in the lobby at the JW Marriott. Yeah. Greeting Cowboy fans as they want. Don't you want a picture? Don't you want a picture with me? Oh, they were so disgusted.
So they should want you at the stadium because maybe, just maybe, Stephen A.
Yeah,
you are there for the time that it turns. That
me?
That you're there and the Cowboys actually.
It's not going to turn.
Well, I mean,
it's over. Listen, man. Look.
Listen. Season hasn't. Still haven't even drafted yet.
Did you see Michael Irvin come on Stephen A's World? He came on Stephen A's World. It's going to be so fly and so fire. That's what he was saying.
Yes.
Talking smack. And I'm like, really? You saying that with a straight face? You know, and then I talked to him about his suit. He's like, what's the rule? You know what it is. I'm casket clean. That's what he said.
That's your casket. I've heard that one before.
I'm like, oh, my Lord, where do you come up with this stuff? But he really, really believes it.
Yes.
And he convinces them. It's not going to happen, Rich. Now, I know they gave Dak his money.
They did.
Good for them to do that because it was the right thing to do. He deserved it.
Yes.
I know they got Ezekiel Elliott. You see him dipping a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
You understand what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. And, I mean, you know what they say about running back. Everybody ain't Derrick Henry, as you well know. Mm-hmm. I mean, Ezekiel Elliott's gonna slip. You gave Amari Cooper $100 million. I'm happy for him. He's a good brother. I'm happy for him. Mm-hmm. It's not gonna work. CeeDee Lamb, he could ball. It's not gonna work. Michael Gallup, the pieces there. It's not gonna work. Somehow, some way, something will go wrong. You can book it. Don't even worry about it. Don't even worry about it.
Well, what do you think they should do in the draft? 10th overall.
Who cares? Who cares? I mean, listen, clearly they did. Listen, I personally think Surtain out of Alabama, he's the big time quarterback. You could use that to buffer your defense because, my God, you're ranked 31st defensively. Couldn't stop the run to save your life.
Yes.
I mean, they were all for 28th defensively, 31st against the run. Neither here nor there. The point is that they didn't have a defense. They couldn't stop a cold. This is what they are. When their offense is clicking, defense is working. When the defense is clicking, the offense is working. When they're both clicking, something happens on special teams. Or there's a coaching decision. Or a coach you didn't get rid of. You kept Kellen Moore around too long. Just like you kept Jason Garrett around too long. You shouldn't have got rid of Rod Marinelli and Chris Rashad. You shouldn't have gotten rid of them. There's always something. The only thing consistent about the Cowboys is that they're going to get their headlines. They're going to get the headline because Jerry going to get his headlines. That's about it.
Yeah.
Outside of that, come on, man. Come on now. And me personally, it's a mistake to think that I root for them to lose quickly. See, I don't root for them.
You want to try
I don't want you to lose. I don't want you to stink in September. I want you to be good in October, really good in November. Hell, I don't even mind you winning on Thanksgiving. I feel better when you lose because I'm eating, but I don't mind you winning on Thanksgiving. But it's right around time when it's Christmas and all of a sudden you see them fluctuate and they struggle. Me personally, I wish the Dallas Cowboys went 16-0 in the regular season. And then plummeted right to play. That would be my treat. When I want fans expecting greatness.
Yes.
And then they fall apart right before our very eyes. Just come crashing down. See, if you fall, but you're already down, it's no fun in that. I want you high, so when you fall, it hurts. That's what I want for the Cowboy fans.
Wow.
I want everybody to, for the record, this answer came from the question of me asking if he missed the written word.
Yeah. I wish,
and then here comes all of that. Thank God,
But I do miss the written word a little bit. But I make up for it with television. Plus, I'm gonna write my own book and stuff like that. So I'm gonna do fine. But I would miss it a lot more if I was writing about the Cowboys because I'd be able to write and talk about them.
When was the first time you met Iverson?
First time I met Iverson was when he showed up in Chicago to take his physical at the NBA pre-draft camp in 1996 before he was ultimately drafted #1 overall. And that year I was named the backup beat writer for the Philadelphia 76ers for the Philadelphia Inquirer.
Right.
And which was his rookie year. And then the very next year I was the beat writer for the Philadelphia 76ers.
Just as he arrived, really.
And just as he arrived. And that's how, ultimately, we certainly had our ups and downs, but he's like a little brother to me. We're very tight. We talk all the time. I love him dearly. And, just covering him every day for the first 10 years of his career. Obviously, you cultivate a relationship that, I remember the players used to accuse us of being a married couple because we'd go back and forth not talking to each other.
Is that right?
He was mad at something that I said, or I was mad at his reaction to something that I said, and we'd go weeks, if not months at a time without even talking, and then make up it was just crazy. It was crazy. But that's the relationship he and I had in those years that he was in Philadelphia.
Right.
But obviously, since he's retired, we've gotten a lot closer.
Well, I remember his practice ran. I was sitting there getting ready to do the 2 a.m. Sports Center with Stuart Scott.
Yeah, it was
and
unreal.
it happened just right around dinner time.
Yeah.
Right around like 5:30, 6 o'clock.
It was unreal.
Blew up the whole 6 o'clock Eastern Sports Center.
That
was the entirety of that Sports Center.
The thing about it is that, a lot of people misconstrued what was going on. I knew what was going on, but it was still, obviously, it was something that he regrets because that's infamous. That will never be forgotten, ever, because that was one of the wildest press conferences any of us had ever seen. Mm-hmm. And his whole thing was that I'm a league MVP. I'm a scoring champion. I'm a year removed from taking us all the way to the finals. Mm-hmm. Shaq and Kobe is what it took to stop us or whatever. And we talking about trading me because of practice, man. We ain't talking about a game. Not a game. Not the game that I love and die for. We talking about practice, man. And he meant it from his soul. Like, this is why you're talking about letting me go because of practice. And I think the untold part about it all is that Larry Brown, who I also know and love dearly, and I consider to be maybe the greatest coach that I've ever seen in my life, considering his knowledge of basketball, what he's taught, how many people that he's taught the game to, players and coaches. Larry is meticulous, man, and he's about doing things the right way, playing the right way. And if you don't believe that, I remember a game when Allen Iverson came out and dropped 58 points on Steve Francis, and Coutinho Mobley and those boys from Houston.
Yeah.
And Larry Brown came in the post-game conference. Well, there was an open man over there, and he missed him, and he didn't give him the ball, Steven. And right here, he could have done this, Steven, but he didn't. That was Larry Brown.
Sure.
And so, it drove Allen Iverson crazy, but that was consistently Larry Brown. If you were a guy that didn't put in the work when the cameras were off and the crowd wasn't in attendance,
right.
If Larry Brown deemed you as that kind of individual, he didn't want you. Even if it was in the moment. He might change his mind tomorrow because Larry will love you today, not want you tomorrow, and then want you the next day after that. So he was temperamental like that. But it was all based off of you doing what he felt you were supposed to be doing to get better every day. That was a champion to Larry Brown. Not somebody who just had the gifts, but somebody who worked in their craft and got better every day. And there were days he felt like Allen Iverson didn't do that, and that's where it came from. But Allen Iverson was like, it's practice, man.
Right.
We talking practice.
Stephen A. Smith here on the Rich Eisen Show. Stephen A.'s World on ESPN Plus. First take on ESPN every day among the many items on this man's very busy full plate. What do you think of the current Sixers? Maybe they're the only team outside of Milwaukee's got a shot to derail the Nets, and what about their full maybe run potential?
You don't want to dismiss the Miami Heat because they were in the finals last year, but I'll dismiss them only from the standpoint that you're talking about Kevin Durant, James Harden, and Kyrie Irving. Now, could they give the Sixers a run for their money? Yes. Could they give Milwaukee a run for their money? They just knocked the Milwaukee Bucks out in 5 games in the bubble. Yes, but Brooklyn's a different animal. And because they're a different animal, the Brooklyn Nets can give up 120 points a night and not even blink because they'll drop 130. This is who they are. They're that potent offensively. And when you look at the Philadelphia 76ers, clearly Doc Rivers knows what he's doing. He's done an incredible job coaching them. Joel Embiid is a leading candidate for league MVP honors. When he's healthy, he's been playing like a monster. I think Ben Simmons is a leading candidate for Defensive Player of the Year. So I'd give them a chance, and I love the shooters that they've surrounded them with. The problem is, to me, you need Ben Simmons on the court because he's such an incredible basketball player, except for his perimeter shooting. And because he's no threat from the perimeter, you're basically, as a defense, defending 5-on-4 unless you allow him to roam on the baseline and make some things happen because he's not a threat scoring from the perimeter. Against Milwaukee, that could work. Against Miami, that could work. Against anybody else, it could work. Not against the Brooklyn Nets, in my opinion. You have to have all 5 guys on the floor that are a threat offensively because they are just so lethal themselves. You're going to have to outscore them. You're not beating the Brooklyn Nets by holding their offense in check. It's not going to happen. You have to be able to score to beat them. And I think that with Ben Simmons not shooting perimeter shots, that could come back to haunt them. In fairness to them, Doc Rivers thinks I'm wrong. He doesn't believe that Ben Simmons needs to get a perimeter shot. He and I have talked about it, and I've nothing but profound respect and admiration for Doc Rivers. But I looked him in his face and said, hell no, you're wrong. I don't believe that. I think you need Ben Simmons to shoot jump shots in order to at least be a threat from the perimeter. Milwaukee's a different animal because Drew Holiday is there. Yep. You still kept Middleton. The Greek Freak's got to get a better perimeter shot. But also adding a guy like P.J. Tucker, who's not only a defensive stalwart, but a guy that you could place in any corner. Left or right, and he'll bury those threes from there. That makes them an incredibly potent threat.
Meanwhile, out west, you've got the Lakers flirting with a play-in game because of the injuries that they've suffered. The Clippers, the PG-13 that the Clippers thought they were getting for playoff P, he's been dynamite lately. The Jazz, we know, are terrific. Jamal Murray, unfortunately, is out. And then there's this case of the Suns going in this. How do you suss the Western Conference as it sits right now, Stephen A. Smith?
My thing is it's all about the health of Anthony Davis. If Anthony Davis is 100%, Lakers are coming out of the Western Conference. I just think that he and LeBron James are 2 of the top 5 players on the planet, and there's nothing you can do about that. I look at the Utah Jazz. I give them a lot of respect. I think Quinn Snyder and the staff have done an exceptional job. But when you look at Rudy Gobert, who patrols the interior, you look at Royce O'Neal, who patrols the perimeter from a defensive perspective, their ability to shoot 3-point shots, and I think Donovan Mitchell's a star. That makes them a threat. We can't ignore they're both top 5 defensively and offensively. And obviously the road to the finals might potentially have to go through Utah, which is a tough place to play. And I think fans will be back come June, July. At least at 50% capacity, if not better in certain places. I think Utah is one of those places. So as a result, I think that will make it incredibly tough. But ultimately, Anthony Davis and LeBron James, with their experience in the best 4 of 7 series, I think they pulled that out. I think, to me, the team to watch is the Clippers. And I've said this on many occasions on First Take in Stephen A's World, and I'll say it again. Paul George has to show up and play like the star that he is during the regular season. We get that. But we know we need to stop giving Kawhi Leonard a pass. And here's what I mean by that. He's a 2-time champion and a 2-time NBA Finals MVP. You won an MVP the first go-round in San Antonio in 2014 as a 4th option. You had Tim Duncan, Manu Ginobili, Tony Parker there. All right, so you fed off of that, and essentially you defended LeBron and held him to 28 points per game. I mean, bravo. I mean, to stop the presses. You held him to 28 points a game, okay? So, I mean, that even though he did shoot about 37% against Kawhi Leonard, fair enough. But then you won your championship in Toronto. Well, what happened in Toronto? You went up against Golden State without KD. And, oh, by the way, Klay got hurt in Game 2, was hobbled in Games 3 and 4, came back in Game 5. Came back in Game 5 as well, played. KD comes back in Game 5, goes down for good.
Right.
In his first game in that series. And then Klay Thompson had 30 in the first 2.5 quarters before he tore his ACL. I believe without KD, they would have beat Toronto if Klay Thompson was healthy the whole series with Steph Curry. But then, especially when the both of them went down, you lucked up that way. Then, fair enough, you're a great top 5 player, both ends of the floor. Kawhi Leonard's big time. We get all of that. You got the New Balance commercial. You driving a convertible down the 405 or wherever the hell it was. You got the crown dangling from the mirror. You know, it's a new day. The new king has arrived. You know, you metaphorically speaking, that's what you were saying. The new king has arrived because LeBron hadn't made the playoffs with the Lakers in his first season after he got injured and missed 17 straight games before missing even more because the season was washed. And you were feeling yourself, and y'all up 3-1 on the Denver Nuggets. And not only do you let them come back from a 3-1 deficit, Jamal Murray drops 40 in a Game 7. You could play defense. Paul George could play defense. Patrick Beverly can play defense. And the brother dropped 40. You were nowhere to be found in the second half. Don't get me started with the fourth quarter. You were nowhere to be found. To me, Kawhi Leonard should be on the clock. Yo, bro, what's up? We know you could play. We know what you could do. We know you the human cyborg, no emotion or whatever. Well, damn it, we got it for you. Where am I going to get my matchup with LeBron and you? That's what I want to see.
Right.
Because even though basketball's a team sport, we all know from the park to the court, period. At some point in time, that one-on-one counter happens, and it's what matters to us. We want to see it. I want to see it. LeBron, Kawhi, Lakers, Clippers. Let's get it on. And so that's what I'm looking for this season, because I do think that the Clippers collectively are an incredibly formidable threat to the Los Angeles Lakers. Let's see what happens. And in terms of the Suns, very gifted. Monty Williams doing a great job with Randy as Willie Green and his coaching staff. Chris Paul's a leader and should be an MVP candidate. Devin Booker's a star. We get all of that. They're just young. And I think in a best 4-7 series, when you don't have that experience, it comes back to bite you. I think they're a piece away. I think next year and beyond, we can look forward to the Phoenix Suns. This year, they'll be in the playoffs. They could potentially make some noise, but I think they're on the outside looking into the three teams I mentioned previously.
Stephen A. Smith here on the Rich Eisen Show. Stephen A. bringing, as always, the A game as he does to Stephen A.'s World on ESPN Plus. First take every single day on ESPN. In the few minutes I have left with you, sir.
Yeah.
I'd like to give somebody whose name was in another guest's mouth to respond.
Okay.
Lil Rel Howrey was on this program recently. You know Lil Rel not only from his work, and his conventional work, but also his work during the All-Star Game in Chicago. Here's what Lil Rel Howrey had to say when he was on this show just a couple of weeks ago. Lil Rel, are you telling me that Stephen A. Smith benched you in the NBA All-Star Celebrity Game of 2020? Is that what you're telling me?
I remember him looking at all of us because we got destroyed. He was like, "Yeah, I made a mistake." You know what I'm saying? I picked the wrong group of guys to do this with. All guards. You know, it's like,
is that what he said? All guards? Is that what he said?
Yeah, like we're too small for that. We're too small. We're too small for him. He didn't even speak to none of us when we left. He didn't come to the locker room to say bye.
Well, are you serious?
All right, we got to write this down.
I'm not lying about that. I'm telling you the other guy the truth. He just left. They had like gifts for him and everything. He was like, I'm good. I'm gone. I'm going straight to the airport. I'm good. I'm gone.
Okay. So how accurate was that telling of the event, Stephen A.?
100% accurate, man. Look, man. Well, first of all, let me say this. I mean, Celebrity Game, ESPN. You know, we appreciate people who participate. You know, and so they asked me to be the celebrity coach, and I'm like, well, I'm gonna have fun with this or whatever. And I'm going up against my brother Michael Wilbon.
Yeah.
And I should have known it was fixed because you see,
Okay.
Michael Wilbon is from Chicago.
Okay.
And so they gave him the bomb squad, okay? They gave him the bomb squad. And I'm looking at my squad because we didn't pick, the coaches, we didn't pick our squad.
Okay.
So I get there, and I'm seeing a bunch of people that's coming up to my waist. You know what I'm saying? I'm like, well, damn, I'm only 6'1". This is a problem. Okay? And I mean, Asia Wilson, that she could ball. She WNBA. She was there for me. I love her forever because she tried. And Darius Miles, God bless him. He's retired, so I can't knock him for the fact that, he was a little bit big. But, but that's okay. That's all right. That's all right. Hell, I'm bigger. You know what I'm saying? I love Darius, and he was out there and he was doing some good things. But Lil Rel, see, and here's my problem. I'm a fan of his. I'm a fan of his work. I think he does a great time. He does a great job on The Chi and various other shows and movies that I've seen him in. I'm a huge fan of Lil Rel. But I didn't ask for him on my squad. He asked. He went on social media, Stephen A, pick me, Stephen A. I'm working on my game. And I should have known when he had that headband around him, looking like Martin, when Martin had that episode with the cheap sneakers and the cheap outfits or whatever. Now, this is what I'm trying to say to you. This dude right there, he was showing me videos of him practicing. And he showed up on the court. And I watched him handling it, doing workouts. And I know basketball, so I'm like, he can't really handle the route. All right, okay, Steve, be patient. Okay, just try to be patient. It's all in fun. And then he dribbled the ball and Common stripping him and stuff. I said, damn it. All right, I'm trying to be patient, but I'm already getting annoyed because he was talking. He told me, he promised me at least 15. Yes. I'm going to give you 15 points, right? And then you showed the highlight. When the brother tripped over his own feet and fell face first, I mean, just went tumbling down. They didn't have the camera on me. I just turned away and just looked away, and I said, "Oh my Lord!" And it was, and we tried to be competitive, and we were in the first half before they pulled away. I had no shooters, I had no guards that could handle the rock. And I knew the fix was in. But I was specifically mad at him because he asked to be on the squad. And listen.
So you benched him?
Hell yeah. Hell yeah, I benched him. I mean.
You pulled him and you benched him.
Not only did I pull him, you know when coaches put you on the bench and they don't look at you, they just continue watching the game. Yeah. That's what I did to him. I just looked. And he walked by and I was like, you know, I mean, I could have. It was like it was really bad, Rich. It was really, really bad. And Lil Rel, listen, he's a phenomenal talent. I love him. I wish him nothing but the best. But he could never play for me again, ever. I never. Not basketball, no. Ping pong or something like that, sure, you know. But basketball. My brother, he will never be on a team of mine again. It will not happen.
So it's 100% true. Write that down. It's 100%
and it's right,
true.
And he is right when he said they were giving out gifts and stuff like that. I was like, I'm good. I'm going to the airport. I left. I was so disgusted. I went straight to the airport. Now, don't get me wrong. It was freezing in Chicago. It was freezing. So I was anxious to get out of town anyway.
Yeah, right.
But after that performance, I left town. I went back to my hotel. I grabbed my luggage and flew out that Friday night.
Yes.
I flew back to New York. That's how disgusted I was. I didn't even stay for the Friday night party. I was that disgusted. I didn't deserve it.
You can't have that on your record. You just can't. You can't
it's
have
on my
that,
record.
that performance.
It's fixed, but I tell you this much.
Yes.
I haven't played in a long time because I had, bad knees and meniscus and cartilage tear and all of that stuff.
This.
I've let ESPN know immediately after that because Common and people like that, Common and a couple of cats and dudes that play other sports, not NBA because I would never disrespect NBA players like that and all of that other stuff. But if you're not a baller, you can't mess with me. I don't give a damn how long it's been since I played. So I went and got both knees operated on.
Okay.
And I had a torn rotator cuff that I had never treated. I got that operated on. This is all since that Celebrity All-Star game. Not this year, obviously. But when the fans come back and we have a celebrity game, by that time I'll be 54. I'm playing.
You're suiting up?
I'm suiting up. I'm a busted living you know what. Why? You see a bunch of people chirping. I see a bunch of them chirping. But I'm not talking NBA players now. I'm not on that level. Listen, even when I was young and healthy, I wasn't on that level. But actors and people like Lil Rel and talking junk to me. Common's on Michael Wilmont's talking because I love Common too. I think Common is a phenomenal talent. He's a good brother. I love him. But I saw him on the court chirping at me. You need to be out here. Really? I'ma remember that.
He's coming for you.
I can't.
It's coming,
the
Common.
doctors tell me I should be healthy.
Yes.
I should be ready to go.
Okay.
Obviously, health permitting. But I assure you, if I'm healthy, I will play. And I'm gonna remember all of the cats that were chirping on Michael Wilbon's squad. And I hope Michael Wilbon called is coaching them again because it was fixed. ESPN, I'm accusing my own employer. ESPN fixed the game for Michael Wilbon. Them in concert with the NBA had rigged it for Michael Wilbon to win in his hometown. I always tell him the fix was in. I was set up.
Do you have that? Go for it.
We have been hoodwinked, bamboozled, led astray, run amok, and flat out deceived. That's right. That's right. That's right. I'm gonna get them all. I'm gonna get them all. I'm gonna get them all. I'm gonna get them all.
Oh man, Stephen A., you are the best. Thank you for doing this.
Man,
you
please,
are
it's my
truly
pleasure.
a treasure. I'm thrilled I'm able to call
Hey,
you
listen,
a friend and have you
we
on
go
here.
back. We go back years,
Thank you.
and the work that I do at ESPN is people like yourself and Dan Patrick and the Keith Olbermans, Chris Bermans, and of course the late great Stuart Scott, your buddy of mine. Loved him dearly, John Saunders. All of y'all paved the way for people like myself to be in the position that I'm in, and I know you do great work here. You do great work on the NFL Network, but you did so much great work for ESPN over the years. All of us love you.
Thanks,
and
Stephen A.
that's why I'm here, because we love you, man, and I'm honored to be here.
Thank you. I frequently think sometimes, what would Stewart think about stuff that's going on in the sports world?
Yeah.
I
Well,
think
he'd
about
be
that
at the
a
forefront
lot.
doing his thing and
doing it well.
Great.
Right.
Great. One of the phenomenal talents that ever existed in this industry,
No
and a
doubt.
good man. We miss him.
Me too. Thanks for doing this. By the way, I think not to tell you how to run your business, maybe you do get Common and everybody that chirped at you on Stephen A.'s World and have it out.
Oh, no.
I think you
Once
should
I
have
know
it.
I'm going to play,
Right.
I'm going to invite them
That's your-
on
on
just
your
to
show.
tell them what's coming. Just to tell them what's coming.
That's content.
Just to tell them what's coming.
That's coming.
I'm coming for it. And by the way,
Yes.
continue the great job with the NFL Network on your show. But y'all got to do something about Michael Irvin suits. I mean, you, Kirk, Coach Mariucci, Mooch. I mean, and Mooch and I know each other because I'm good friends with Tom Izzo, and that's his buddy right
is
there.
his
That's his guy.
best man at weddings. Yes,
Izzo,
sir.
who swears by Mariucci. That's good enough for me because I love Izzo. But
Right.
I mean, y'all could do something about Michael Irvin's wardrobe. Y'all do have impact. I mean, come on, y'all. Help the brother out. He needs it.
You know what, Stephen A., I think it's something, again, that is just the phrase, it is what it is.
Right.
And that's about it.
Why are y'all allowing him to lie about his afro? We all know that's a toupee. Why y'all allowing that too? Why y'all allowing Michael Irvin to get away with that? I mean, I could use it. I could use it myself. He gonna sit up and go like this. It's prime real estate up here. It's prime real estate. That's what he says. I'm like, really? That's a toupee. I'm telling you, man, that's a toupee. I tell you, we gonna find out about. I don't know when, but we gonna find out that Michael Irvin was wearing a toupee. We gonna find it out.
That's called a mic drop, everybody. Stephen A. Smith. Check out Stephen A.'s World every day, 4 days a week on ESPN Plus and First Take every single day. Good to see you.
Good to see you,
You
buddy.
are the man. Stephen A. Smith, everybody. Hey, you watched all the way to the end. Thanks for that. Watch more right here.